Jayarada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gauri Rama Gita Radha Jaya Gauri Rama Gita Radha Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hello, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudev. I was about to sing Yashoda, Nandana, then I saw Yashoda came on the screen. Perfect timing. Hare Krishna. Welcome, devotees. Thank you for coming. Also for devotees for joining online. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, and today we are reading text number 19. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrishimha. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrishimha. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrishimha. Balasya neha pitaro nrishimha. Natasya jagatam udanvati majatono. Tasya jagatam udanvati majatono. Natasya jagatam udanvati majatono. Majatono. Taptasya tat pravividhirya ihanja shashtas. Tasya tat pratividhirya ihanja shashtas. Taptasya tat pratavidhirya ihanja shashtas. Tasya tat pratividhirya ihanja shashtas. Tavad vibhotanuvritam tvad upekshitanam. Vad vibhotanuvritam tvad upekshitanam. Tavad vibhotanuvritam tvad upekshitanam. Vibhotanuvritam tvad upekshitanam. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrishimha. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrishimha. Nartasya Jagadam Udanvati Majatano. Tasya Jagadam Udanvati Majatano. Taptasya Tat Pratividhirya Ihanja Sheshta. Vad Vibhotanubritam Tvat Upekshitanam. Would anyone like to try here in the temple? Balasya neha sharanam pitaram vishnuvartam. Nadasya jagatam udanvati majatano. Taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanja shashtam. Tavad vibhotanubritam tvat upekshitanam. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro vishya. Nadasya jagatam udanvati majatano. Tapasya tat pratividhirya ihanja shashtas. Tavad vibhotanubritam tvat upekshitanam. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrsimha. Tasya jagatam udarvati majatano. Nardasya jagatam udanvati majatano. Tasya tat pratividhirya ihanja sheshtas. Taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanja sheshtas. Vibhotanubritam Tavad vibhotanubritam tvat upekshitanam. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrsimha. Tasya jagatam udanvati majatano. Taptasya tat pratividhirya shashtam. Tavad vibhotanubritam tvat upekshitanam. Anyone online would like to say, please?
Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrsimha. Nartasya jagadam udanvati majito nahao.
Tasya jagadam udanvati majatano.
Taptasya tat pratividir yai hasya sheshtas.
Taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanja shashtas.
Tavad vibhotanubritam tvad upekshitanam.
Tavad vibhotanubritam tvat upekshitanam. Balasya of a little child. Na, not. Iha, in this world. Sharanam, shelter, protection. Pitaro, the father and and mother. Nrsimha, O my Lord Nrsimhadev. Na, neither. Artasya, of a person suffering from some disease. Cha, also. Agadam, medicine. Udanvati, in water of the ocean. Majataha, of a person who is drowning. No, the boat. Taptasya, of a person suffering from a condition of material misery. Tat pratividihi, the counteraction, invented for stopping the suffering of material existence. Ya, that which, iha, in this material world, anjasa, very easily, ishtaha, accepted as a remedy, tavat, similarly, vibho, O my Lord, O Supreme, tanubritam, of the living entities who have accepted material bodies, tvat upekshitanam, who are neglected by you and not accepted by you. Translation. My Lord and Srimad, O Supreme, because of a badly conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child. A physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Through parental care, through remedies for different kinds of disease, and through means of protection on the water, in the air, and on land, there is always an endeavor for relief from various kinds of suffering in the material world, but none of them are guaranteed measures for protection, but may be beneficial temporarily, but they afford no permanent benefit. Despite the presence of a father and mother, a child cannot be protected from accidental death, disease, and various other miseries. No one can help, including the parents. Ultimately, the shelter is the Lord, and one who takes shelter of the Lord is protected. This is guaranteed. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:31, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. The son of Kunti declared boldly that my devotee will never perishes. Therefore, unless one is protected by the mercy of the Lord, no remedial measures can act effectively. One should consequently depend fully on the causeless mercy of the Lord. Although, as a matter of routine duty, one must of course accept other remedial measures, no one can protect one who is neglected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this material world, everyone is trying to counteract the onslaught of material nature, but everyone is ultimately fully controlled by material nature. Therefore, even though so-called philosophers and scientists try to surmount the onslaught of material nature, they have not been able to do so. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 13:19 that the real suffering of the material world are four: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and disease. In the history of the world, no one has been successful in conquering these miseries imposed by material nature. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvajaha. Nature, Prakriti, is so strong that no one can overcome her stringent laws. So-called scientists, philosophers, religionists, and politicians should therefore conclude that they cannot offer facilities to the people in general. They should make vigorous propaganda to awaken the populace and raise them to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Our humble attempt to propagate the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world is the only remedy that can bring about a peaceful and happy life. We can never be happy without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, Tvat Upekshitanam. If we keep displeasing our Supreme Father, we shall never be happy within this material world, in either the upper or lower planetary systems. Balasyaneha sharanam pitaro nrsimha natasya jagadam udanvati majato no taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanja shashtas tavad vivo tanu pritam tvad upekshitanam. My Lord Nrsimhadev, O Supreme, because of a badly conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and a mother cannot protect their child. A physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient. And a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Om Jnanatinandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So it's quite intimidating to read this translation in purport because Srila Prabhupada basically just laid out destroying any hopes that we may have for material protection. And just like my husband mentioned yesterday, like what else you can say, the purport is so complete. It's so complete. But I was inspired to talk a little bit about ultimate insurance policy. So it's very obvious from this purport that material insurance policy does not exist. We have policies, right? But they always have this, what is it called? Like this, not disclaimer, like a, huh? Yes, like conditions, right? So, for example, if a tree falls on your car and damages it, the insurance quite likely will not cover that. And they call it because it's not, it's act of God, act of nature, act of God, right? So then we try to get like a supplemental insurance or like fill in the gaps, pay more money so it will be covered everything. But ultimately, whatever insurance policy we take, whatever God arranges, it's not covered. This is quite interesting. So here Prahlad Maharaj, he offered the prayer to Lord Srimad. And Prahlad Maharaj, he has a very graphic example of someone who's trying to take all available supplement insurance possible. His own father, Hiranyakashipu, who, one supplement, okay, I will not be killed like this, and I will not be killed like this, and not this time, and not that time, and not like that. So apparently he feels all the gaps. He had all possible insurance policy available. Not only that, he is extremely powerful, strong. You can say empowered. Obviously, one needs to be empowered in order to be able to control the entire universe. He controls everyone. Everybody basically dances as he plays. Yet, he is destroyed almost in a fraction of seconds by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Nishingadev. So in material world, we live in this deep illusion that we can create our own safety by insurance policies, by strong house with a new roof and good foundation. That we can protect our body by taking wonderful supplements and vitamins and having a exemplary wellness routine. But is this really the case? Are we able to come up with measures that would protect us and have us live healthy, happily, and do not encounter those four sufferings that Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. No birth, no death, no old age, and no diseases. Absolutely not, because this material world has been created by default with those four miseries. So it doesn't matter what we do, we will have to suffer. When Srila Prabhupada, in this prayer, Prahlad Maharaj mentioned about the boat on the ocean and drowning men that they cannot protect themselves. So, when we are on the beach, having a walk, so maybe, taking a dip and swimming, it gives the illusion that we are like so strong. The ocean is there, but we are good swimmers and it's like we are still in control. But as soon as you find yourself on the boat, on the ocean, that feeling is totally different. It's overwhelming, the potency and the power of an ocean. We know the story of Titanic, right? It was the ship of super ship. I can say like this, right? And everybody wanted to get on that ship. There were only limited spots, so only like the richest could go, and people really the rest they really have to struggle. So I heard from Vaisheshika Prabhu that actually I believe it was his grandfather that wanted to get on that ship, and he already make arrangement. He got a ticket and he packed himself, but uh, the way he paid for the ticket was that he had to do a money transfer. I don't know how that looked at that time, but there was some way that they could have to transfer the money. So he was already on that ship. And then they told him your transaction didn't work out, so you need to step away. So he was very upset that he couldn't go. And actually, a few other people also they requested them to leave the ship because the money didn't go through. And of course, later we know what happened. The Titanic, they were so proud of this um, construction of the ship that they didn't even have enough sufficient, how do you call it, like a lifeboats to save everyone. And we know the story. The ship crashed into the iceberg. And that was very tragic, how people, die and all they dream of America or whatever. They were going to America, right? The American dreams didn't work out. It's very tragic. Um, but that's the power of matter and energy and power of Krishna. So we also happened with my husband to have an experience going on a cruise. It was a business trip. It's pleasure combined with a business leadership education. And we've never been on a cruise. And I always have this. I have a very strong fear of water for some reasons. But so it was the largest cruise ship in the US. So as we were entering that cruise ship, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear description of those like flying cities, or like that there's gardens and everything. So that is a very minimal scale. But as we entered that cruise ship, you lost idea that you are actually on a ship, because there was like a stores and streets and gardens and like entertainment, swimming pools, so many of them, restaurants, um, and it felt like overwhelming to even be able to see. People were getting lost all the time, like they needed direction all the time because it was so huge. And we happened to have our cabin like on the lower level, not like the lowest, but lower level. So from our window, we could see the ocean. And it happened that for those few days we were cruising, I think it was a week or something, the city was rough. The ocean was rough. So we could see those waves and like really high waves. I don't know how many meters. Do you know how many meters they were? Yeah, 15 to 20. They were really heavy. And we felt so tiny, so insignificant, so insignificant. You could feel that this wave anytime could take over the ship, over that ship. It was a frightening experience, actually. But of course, we have our supreme health insurance policy, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, right? And it works. Same. When we are standing on the earth and we're looking at the planes that are passing, right? We see, oh, just a little plane going there, we are here on the earth, standing strongly in control of everything. But once you're on a plane and there's some heavy turbulence, you feel so tiny, right? And you're like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So yeah, so no one can do anything to protect us ultimately, only Krishna. Even he has mentioned that the medicine cannot cure somebody, the doctors cannot cure um, ultimately. Even when you go to the hospital for some major surgery, you have to sign a lot of papers. That basically they are telling you, we're gonna try, but you as well may die in the process, right? If you get medicine, like for myself, like prescription drugs, you read all this like there's like this much about how to use it, and there's this much about all possible side effects, and then they are saying most people they are not experiencing a severe side effect, but you may be the one that will experience, and that's what may happen to you. So please make sure you immediately reach out to, to the doctor, right? So there is no protection. No protection. Only the Supreme Lord, Lord Sri Krishna, can protect us. Um, what is this line that you remember the Sanskrit that whoever Krishna wants to kill, Raka Krishna Maraka, Mara Krishna Rakaka. Whoever Krishna wants to kill, no one is able to protect, and whoever Krishna wants to protect, no one is able to kill them. Yes. Something I also want to reflect upon on this particular verse purport that Srila Prabhupada gave. And I want to actually open for discussion. Because it's mentioned here, Prabhupada mentioned that the parents cannot protect their child. Parents would be able to protect the child would never die prematurely. They would never face any diseases, but they do. Uh, and even when we have the best medical care, the best medicine, still we will experience the disease. When there's time for it, we will still experience the disease and the suffering that comes to it. So then someone may wonder, okay, so do we then need to do anything? Can we just like be neglectful and just don't take care of our uh, body and mind? Because anyhow, those things are gonna happen. We're still gonna get sick. We're gonna get old. Of course, we're gonna die eventually, all of us. But I just want to focus on this phase of just old age and diseases. So I have a question to all of you, opening for discussion and also for the devotees online. So should we or should we not have a good wellness routine, have a good vitamins, exercise, watch out our diet, take preventative measure to protect ourselves from possible diseases, get a car insurance, fasten the seatbelt, get a home insurance, get maybe life insurance? Or it doesn't make sense to get involved in those material measures of protection? That's a question to all of you. I will take the mic because I would love for you to share. And also, devotees online, please kindly, if you have any thoughts on that topic, I would be very grateful if you can also share. Okay. So, Mother Jambavati is going to share. Our bodies are made for service. For devotional service. We take care of them, though, not for our own, aggrandizement, um, or just to have a physical, um, for physical appearance, a good physical appearance. But we take care of our bodies so that we can serve the Lord and serve the devotees. So, in order to do that, we have to take care of them, which means that we refrain from certain habits, smoking, drugs, even excess intake of certain foods. We avoid those so that our bodies, excuse me, are fit to serve the Lord. Something else I was going to say. But yes, we should, but not for our own satisfaction. Well, our satisfaction should be our satisfaction that we do have bodies. We were given these bodies, and we actually hit the jackpot, as they say, because these bodies are considered the Cadillac of human bodies. Some people come back, or some souls come back, and they're in various, there's 8,400,000 different species. We could have been any one of those except for the ones that we receive um, due to our karma, of course. And of course, it said that whatever we're doing now, we're actually um, preparing for our next body based on what we do now. So we have to be very careful. Very, very careful. Not only what we do, but also our thoughts as well. So I'll let someone else talk now. Let's see. Did you want to go?
Something real quick, just real quick,
Uh,
just to add to this gentleman's point is that um, we tend to think that these bodies belong to us, but if we don't own anything, not even our body, So if we don't have the partnership of the body, it implies that it's Christians, and we can also use that in Christian service. That means taking care of it, so we can offer Bhagavatam.
that was the point. That was the other point. Yes.
While we were speaking, I was thinking of like one of the tractors here, that basically if taking care of Krishna's property, like Jagannath Prabhu was saying, is good. That taking care of the body, just like if Dhruva's taking care of one of the tractors. But we can keep, there's also a way to overdo it where you keep polishing the tractate, but you never take it out to actually, actually do it. It's like, look at it, I got red paint, I got, a shine coat on it and everything. So I was just thinking, I mean, of course, I agree that we should take care of the body. And my personal realization about it is one that I can't speak for other spiritual masters, but I just feel so fortunate to have come under the shelter of His Holiness Devamrita Swami, because he's a living example of it. And he always says, my health is better now than when he was in his 20s. And also, he's just given me a lot of personal instruction about don't abuse yourself, take care of everybody, your health like as a main service. And I can see that it's really helped my enthusiasm and like steadiness and sobriety, and it helps the mind a lot too. Maybe that's just me, but so I'm just feeling very fortunate. At the same time, I've been thinking about that as like if you never take the body out to do service with what you're, preparing the body for, then you're just going to keep shining the torch and you never take it out to the field. So, one more thing I wanted to say about Gurudev, but um, I think that's everything. Yeah, I can just really see, especially having been to New Zealand and things where he has more involvement, like, that just saying, exercises, sadhana, like all these things that I don't know, maybe he doesn't say everywhere, maybe it's controversial or something, but he just really, last thing I wanted to say is that I've heard him say in lectures before that half of, um, I guess preaching to, especially in today's day and age, is just getting people to care about themselves, like that people actually don't, and I can see that in myself too, having grown up just in the generation I did, is that you just really see the body as like Jagannath Pandit was saying, it's mine. If I want to destroy it, I can destroy it. If I want to enjoy it, I can enjoy it. So I think part of taking care of one's health and self-care is like actually bringing us to the level of like caring about ourselves. So that's all.
I was thinking about how Krishna said in the Gita about don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Recreation, everything balanced, isn't it? It has to be balanced. If it's too off the scale, and it's sentiment, and it's not sustainable. A little side note, what you had mentioned a little earlier about devotee's grandfather was on the Titanic. And he got booted. I had a business colleague, similar situation. He checked in at the airport, and something happened to his seat arrangement, and they wouldn't let him on board. And he was the plane was one of the five that hit the tower. Like, so he changed his whole mindset from that point on. Like, wow, I'm not in control. This wasn't a devotee, but he had the realization, like, wow, I need to really look at this seriously about life. So it's beneficial. Anybody else?
Can I just say, also wanted to share that how we take care of our bodies, particularly if we have family members, who are still indulging in they haven't changed their diet, but we can be encouraging to them also. And eventually they do start to listen. I have a niece who I just learned is not only vegetarian, but she's vegan. And this is after what, 30 years of her, knowing my lifestyle. And she's even giving talks on being vegan and its benefits, of having a plant-based diet. So sometimes we think that perhaps what we share with our family, falls on deaf ears, but eventually they get it. So, and I was also thinking about people who are bodybuilders. You know, there are more and more women also that are becoming bodybuilders. And personally, I think it looks gross, but you know, they think that it's beautiful. They have competitions, bodybuilders. But then it's like, okay, we've done this, but what for? What for? What purpose other than um, to look good, as they say? Or it's narcissistic to me, uh, and it takes a lot to get those bulgy muscles. That's like almost every day in the gym, I'm told. To change your body like that. Like I said, I just think it looks very grotesque, especially for women. You Anyway, Hare Krishna. Oh, and one other thing. I remember once I was wearing a tulsi beads, but I was wearing, it had the tilak wood carving. And I was in a store once, and this lady commented on it. She said, "Oh, it's very pretty. Does it have any meaning?" And I told her, I said, "Yeah." I said, "Actually, uh, there are actually 12 places, that we mark our bodies with clay-like uh, mixture to remind us that these are not our bodies and that our bodies are meant for serving, you know. So she was really appreciative of that. you
Thank you very much for a wonderful class and all these wonderful practical comments about the purpose of taking care of our body and mind. So, in order to make it authorize all these different comments that we hear, I would like to bring Srila Prabhupada example that Gurudev is following, of course. Srila Prabhupada was taking care of his body. He was always, every morning, on a walk. And he also mentioned that as a bhakti practitioners, we will think, of course, sadhana, regardless what. I have such tendency, but Srila Prabhupada mentioned health first, sadhana next. So why? Because we are in, but we can question, oh, Srila Prabhupada, he was, if when people are in older age, they are not travel like Srila Prabhupada. They were not working like Srila Prabhupada, sleeping 1-2 hours every day. He was he was doing so much in such old age. Nobody's doing this. Then somebody can say, What about you, Srila Prabhupada? You are not taking care of your body at all." Well, Srila Prabhupada is completely on different level. But on our level, when we have difficulty to understand, or maybe we are able to understand theoretically, otherwise we will not hear. But on a practical level, many times we exhibiting symptoms of lack of understanding that actually we are spirit, soul, not this body and mind. So therefore, on our level, identifying ourselves with body and mind, it is recommended to take care of our body and mind because, as we hear, our body is like Cadillac, yeah? Who said this? Cadillac. There's extraordinary vehicle, extraordinary tools that we can engage in Krishna's service.
Tesla.
Tesla. Yeah. Yeah, we have Tesla body. We have very, very extraordinary body that we can engage in Krishna's service. Without this body that we have, we will be not able to engage, like you mentioned. There's a lot of different species, and they are not able to engage themselves in devotional service. So our body is very unique. We can engage ourselves in Krishna's service, which is the ultimate spiritual policy of insurance policy. So I want to bring two aspects of this spiritual insurance policy. So first, we're taking care of our body, that our body can allow us to do service for Krishna, and also another aspect is for future. Like we are, sacrificing so much time and energy for the future. We're going to, like young people, they use the energy, the time to go to study just for what? For future, better future, better, bigger, higher comfort in the future. So we are doing all many different things, this insurance policy, this and that. All these different arrangements are for the better future. So this is another aspect. At the present moment, we're taking care of the body and mind just to serve Krishna now, and also for the future. So I'm doing, like you mentioned, we are working now, trying to be very careful what we do, how we behave, and all these different things. Why? Of course, to satisfy Krishna, and also for better future. Because if we are not fully qualified to come back to Krishna, so then is it smart to think, well, now I will work now, then I can get better body. Maybe I can take birth in Vrindavan, around close to Krishna Balaram Mandir, and can serve Krishna. So this is also very intelligent thinking for the future. Now I work now, then I can get easier next life, not such horrible struggle like this lifetime. So it is very smart to think in this way. Why I am doing what I am doing. What is the purpose? If we thinking in selfish way, then everything is spoiled, like we hear today from the purpose. But if we are doing this for Krishna, and with this authorized, because we can say everything. I'm also, smoking cigarettes for Krishna. But if it is authorized, what we should do and how we should do, then we need to work consciously, remembering why we're doing what we're doing. We're doing this for Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. Krishna will be satisfied if I will do this. Krishna will be satisfied if I will not do this. So we need to always think in this way.
Question.
Yes.
I was just wondering, I've heard from, well, I was giving the example of Gurudev and then some of his disciples, like, Krishnaloka, saying, she also had gone, I think she was in her 30s, but had gone through like 7 years, or I don't know if she has chronic fatigue or what, but I've heard a few devotees say like that they, their health is better now in their 50s, 60s, 70s than even when they were in their 20s or 30s. So I was wondering if because you're also healthy, and like I'm envious. I'm like, oh my gosh, you and Sarva do so much service, Mother Jamavati, everybody. So I was just wondering if you can share any of your experience or like realization about that to give me hope.
That's one of the things, yeah, sure. Wow, thank you so much. All of you, and I will open in a moment for the devotees online, but I just want to just summarize what has been shared that as the devotees, yes, we do. It's our duty, like Srila Prabhupada even mentioned, that it's actually duty to take those remedial measures to take of our body and mind, to keep this tool healthy for the sake of, let's say, for the sake of Krishna. And the whole material endeavor of materialistic people and scientists and philosophers is to counteract something that cannot be counteracted, like old age, diseases, death, and birth and death. And when they are making some progress in this regard, they are very proud. We have this US, equipment in a hospital. We have this fancy thing that can, like do this, remove this. And it's okay, those are helpful, but they are forgetting what's the ultimate goal, that ultimately never in a material world there will be a situation that they can counteract and stop those things completely. So a lot of energy is going in the wrong direction. So it's our also duties as a devotees to awaken, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned, let's make propaganda, let's raise them to the higher platform and actually focus on the ultimate insurance policy. Srila Prabhupada, when I was listening to one of his lectures, he gave this example that there was a hunter, he put like a net, and the baby birds were caught. So the mother came and she was like, oh my God, my children, I need to save them. So she jumped right in to save them and she was caught too. But then the father came, he looked at the situation and he said, and he was thinking, oh, if I try to save them, I will be caught too. So I better not take sannyas. Of course, we try to save our family members, but the point was that we should not get into the same material consciousness, like hope, thinking that we can actually make this life, forever in the material body. And to answer your question, Parika, I answered maybe in a funny way, but yes, it's true. as you get older, you sometimes get smarter. So in the young bodies, we take everything for granted. I remember myself, I was thinking, oh, it's gonna be like forever. I always be healthy and fit and have energy and all of that. And there's no need. It's so here the thing that when you're young, it's much harder to take proactive step for the health because we have this illusion that it's gonna be like this forever, forever. Just like also when you have a new car, you don't really like put much attention to the shiny is new. But that's where actually I should start to make those, regular maintenance and so on. So similarly, in a younger age, it's harder to do those things. Now, when you get older and smarter, you see, oh, I wish I didn't take it for granted. I wish I did those steps earlier. I wish I had a good exercise routine and all of that. But now it's kind of too late. You cannot go back. You can, of course, change the future, but making smarter decision flashbacks, right? Yes. But I think is that also when we are older, we already know and we have a need and we actually have to. It's not like a choice anymore. Like we were reflecting with my husband the other day, and I was telling him like, like every time I have to exercise, I hate it. I don't want to do it. You're really like forcing yourself to do it. Afterwards, you feel great. It's like so awesome. But just to do it. So for us, it's hard now to do it. In a young age, it's easy to do it, but the mentality is not there because everything feels so perfect. Are you gonna live forever? No diseases, nothing is gonna get me. Yes, but that's the we learning hard way. It's like oh. We have a couple of minutes. I would love to hear from devotees online. If anyone has some comments, reflection on the topic, please kindly share. Oh, yes, we have one more comment here. Please take a mic so everybody can. Mhm.
And he is like one of our biggest inspirations to tell us that we are not going to fight alone. Because he's suffering a lot. He was paralyzed, he has long health issues and things like that. That doesn't stop him from preaching, from making disciples, from making devotees. And so that he has been our biggest inspiration growing up, from just watching him. Even when he was having, he never stopped. Even now, he doesn't stop. He just travels all this affliction. So he basically is telling us through his life that you're not limited by this body. It could be paralyzed, it could be in any condition. But if you have your heart in the right place, Krishna will make everything else. Yeah, he's really. So yeah, that's a big inspiration.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Certainly, it's a big inspiration and something to aspire for. Personally, for me, I know that even a little headache or toothache basically knocks me down, and my cerebral services comes to almost to zero. So one day, hopefully, many lifetimes ahead of me, I might be able to reach that state. But certainly, it's such a great inspiration. Anyone online would like to share? Like literally, like just a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes. If not, that's fine too. We started with the greetings. So just to conclude, let's stick to our eternal insurance policy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It costs nothing, no big, monthly premium, and the biggest return. And yes, thank you. And Mother Jamavati mentioned that chanting itself has health benefits, isn't it? It keeps us sane. Physical and mental, yes. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. worthy.